Good Monday to you, Warriors. How's everyone doing? Everyone ready for a good week? Okay, so let's talk about what my forecast was for last week in the euro dollar. We'll start here. And I talked about the potential of the euro pulling back to form a right shoulder. Was today it? Didn't quite get to 1750. But I'm, watching this for a potential bottom. And there's also a little shorter term formation that I teach and I trade that might give us a setup in the next couple of days. So if I drill down to the 15-minute chart on the euro, so one potential technical formation, of course, is this head and shoulders with the left shoulder being here and the head being here and the right shoulder going to the neckline and the pullback. And for symmetry, it would be around this 1750 level, around the same level as here, but this is not cement. It could give way to a little bit deeper, 1720. I wouldn't want to see a 117 close again. I'd say that would most likely negate this scenario. We're on our way to 113 or so. So it's a pretty important week coming up here for the dollar. So here's what we have setting up on the daily. Let's just take a quick look at what type of weekly close we would need in the euro. And it's really going to have to prove itself because here's your 2-week off number. It's all the way up near the highs at 118.80. So that would take quite a reversal. But keep that head and shoulders, right shoulder in mind. And now I want to show you what might be setting up here in the euro is you can tell we've had one drive, which was confirmed, right? And we rallied a little bit to take it out of the oversold situation. And then we made this low last night, not quite 1750, but, that 20 pip rally, that's how lackluster a lot of the currencies have been lately, that if you pull up a 15-minute chart, this looks like a big move, but what was it, 60 pips, 70 pips. So now with the RSI all the way up here, should we get one more flush down here towards 1750 for a third drive, I draw these lines in, even though they could undercut them, and you could also end up having overthrows as well. But let me just draw a trend line in here against this low. So it'll give it a little bit of a wedge look. So let's see, it's right here. And let's just end it there. So that's coming in at lower lows, not quite 1750 again. It'd be like 1765. So we have potential 3 drive to a bottom formation along with the potential head and shoulders bottom formation here on the daily. And we'll see if this is it. I'm going to be patient. I really don't like to jump on things on Mondays. Mondays are not, they're usually follow through days, which is what we're getting. We're getting follow through to the negative week. Euro had a negative week last week. Look at this candle, right? So here we are, in a fib level and potential third drive. So the only other thing that's a negative, and I think it's really got to dig its heels in, is going to be this, the euro pound. I would not want to see the euro pound make a new low. And we're holding in here. So these are potential turnaround Tuesday entries. We'll see. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, Dale, why don't you just buy it? And you could always have a piece on, but if you have a style that works for you, and normally I look for follow through and reversals happening Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll see. And here's really the headline. If I miss it and I miss an entry, it's really no big deal, because you know what? I miss trades every day, don't you? So why get stressed out about it? Why not just have the attitude, and this is self-talk too, that I'll miss trades every day and it's okay because there's always another bus around the corner. And that's the way I feel. And, you know, I've been trading these markets for quite a while there. You know, you thought, oh God, the 87 crash was the move of a lifetime. And then we had a COVID crash, and then we've had parabolic moves to the upside in commodities and crypto, you know, 3,000 to 60,000 in Bitcoin. So, you know, there's always going to be something out there, guys. You just have to relax. And I know it's easier said than done, but really you have to be patient and wait for your setups. And if, you know, the market deviates from a setup and you miss it, that's okay. I mean, you could always finesse an entry into it. We don't always have to be perfect. And that's why if you feel like, you know, you really think that this is important to you, I mean, there was nothing wrong with trying it here right now, you know, and risking 100 pips. So on this right here on the 2 hour, it actually looks like we already had a 3 drive. So maybe, well, this is euro pound. So, you know, euro pound might be ahead of the euro. So we'll see if we still get that 15-minute. It's kind of getting away on the upside for that to happen, but this was a pretty interesting little 3 drive on EG, and so far only 2 on the euro. So these are really the 2 key currencies for the dollar play. Okay, so the dollar has been pretty tough, right? I mean, it's not breaking, hasn't broken yet. This to me, you know, originally I was looking for 91, right? On this, and then, you know, I didn't want to stay with my shorts, and I haven't re-entered them. But now I'm looking at this, and, you know, dollar looks kind of heavy here. And if we had something like this from today's high, which was, you know, the high of this bounce, you know, this was 180, and, you know, 180 from today's high of 88 gives you a 91.10. Write down that number and remind me of it if it happens. So could be 91.10. So I'm looking for the dollar to have one more sell-off before the big rally happens. So let's see, this is where I'm going to be real interested in dollar longs again for a move up to 95, 96. So we'll see if this plays out this week. I think it would be supportive for metals. Gold's, you know, getting a little bit of a pop, but nothing impressive. And really what's impressive, but to the downside, is the action in silver. I mean, silver, if I still think I could get 1760 to 40 gold, right? I'm still looking for down here for a buy zone. Where's silver going to be when gold gets down there? Potentially a new low. So the gold silver ratio is screaming that today. You know, we had a little pullback from the 23% back level. I mean, this was a huge move last year. It was maybe one of the moves of the decade on the gold silver ratio, where you could have for 1 ounce of gold gotten 128 ounces of silver. Now you get, you know, a little more than half of that. But, you know, we've come out of here, we've started to correct. Maybe this corrects because we're going to have some type of monetary problem rather, and it's going to affect the economy, and gold will hold up better. Silver won't because it's an industrial. But anyway, silver looks pretty heavy to me. My preferred long because of this gold silver ratio is the gold, and it's showing in spades today with gold up 3 and silver down 20. You know, you don't see that a lot. If you want to be a bear, you know, you just look at the big picture here in the weekly, right? And you take the high, the move that we had up here at 2075, right? And here at 16, let's call this 1675, 400 $400 and a measured move. And I don't think a lot of people talking about, if we get a breakdown here, $400 move is going to take you down to 1,300, 1,280. All right. So what I'm thinking is that we're going to pull back and then break out to the upside if we get out over 1873. So what would give me one more pullback towards that 1750 range in gold, I think would be the yen. The yen giving me one more rally through this, kind of sideways consolidation. There are inflation numbers this week. Maybe that's what could be behind it. But, there is potential for the yen to rally to a third drive high up here at 112. I guess, if you want to use big stops, you use, your first warning sign would be back under 109.5. So you could have a piece on and get out of the way under 109.5. Canada, crude is strong. So Canada, really not suffering much. Almost looks like this too could have a third drive up here. But if I'm looking for one more dollar decline, you would think that we would get one more here in Canada, but looks like a third drive is a possibility. The other one is, pull back towards 23.5, something like A, B, C down here in Canada. Similar situation in Aussie. Would love to see the Aussie try these highs one more time for a potential short in the Aussie. And I want everyone to, before I get into the stock indexes, what does my shirt say? Can you guys read that? What is it? Storm. Storm, okay? Who's ready for a storm? Okay, and why do I say that? In fact, we're getting a nice fade in NASDAQ now, because last week in the S&Ps, I talked about a reversal week was going to happen at, what happened? Okay, was going to happen at 45.11. Okay, so we had our weekly reversal right here, closed under the prior 2-week signal. We rallied today back to some resistance. And I don't think people are prepared for a storm. They're, in fact, this bounce, everyone's very sanguine right now about everything. And to me, this action in S&Ps, if we start taking out this uptrend line, comes in around 44.40, which, we weren't that far away on Friday. This trend line, it's barely holding this trend line. I think there's a lot of air underneath this trend line. A lot of people be talking about this low at 43.5 as being important. It is, because it was the last low before what I believe is going to turn out to be the high of more than a garden variety correction. Okay, I'm talking about, not just a 5-10% correction, although I'm sure that would be bought. That would, 10% would maybe take us down to 4,000 in the S&Ps, and people are going to buy it. It's a bull market, it's a trend, and maybe we rally from there. But I'm actually looking for this moving average and this uptrend, kind of a broader uptrend, to be taken out. And here are a couple of targets. Here's that 4,000 again, but I actually think that we could test this out, which is a little bit beneath the high before the COVID crash. So I'm not sure what the catalyst is going to be. Could it be as silly as a fiscal cliff? Because no one's, Janet is saying, hey guys, either eliminate the debt ceiling or pass an extension, because I think they're running out of money, and the way money is being spent, what a surprise that they're running out of money. So we'll see what happens if we're going to have another government shutdown, everything's so dysfunctional anyway. Maybe the disappointment will be that this whole infrastructure deal, both the bipartisan deal blows up because of the other deal that is not bipartisan, the $3.5 trillion. So, there's a lot on the stove bubbling right here, and you can't say these are cheap. This is cheap, right? And from where we bottomed in the COVID crash, just normal retracements of this move is going to feel, painful, but it could still be viewed as a retracement. So I do a lot of intelligence gathering, right, guys? And what Ellioticians are looking at, and I'm telling you, I do not know anything really about Elliot. I'm kind of an amateur, okay? So just do it there. Hold on. And what this whole wave was up here was 5 of 3. So it's the end of a major wave 3. And then you get a wave 4 correction. And wave 4s can be deep, okay? They could be very deep. And so, I mean, why can't we have a 61.8% correction at, 3,100 or so? Okay, so I mean, that would not even really probably end. So if this is the end of 3, this is going to be like a 4, a wicked 4 that flushes out a lot of things, kind of a little, one more, while they're talking about inflation, spending slows, kind of asset prices kind of deflate down here. At least stock prices do. So that's why I'm wearing my storm shirt, even though we started off higher today. Didn't take long for the hedgies from the Hamptons to come in here and start slamming the market from, obvious resistance points. So, I'm still on the bearish side. And you know what? I was early. I turned out to be the boy crying wolf, but there were nice breaks. They just didn't turn out to be the top. So, I mean, even in a bull market, if your timing is right, it's not great because easy money's just sitting long, like the world, everything. But if your timing is good, you could still make money being a bear in a bull market, sometimes at least. It's tougher, but it can still happen. So negative action there in the S&Ps. So you guys kind of know what I'm looking for. And the NASDAQ, the weakness has really been the Dow. The Dow actually was the first to break down. And I'm not sure how the dollar fits into this puzzle. You would think conventional knowledge would say, the dollar should catch a good bid during times of risk off. So we'll see how that turns out. I just wanted to take a look at the NASDAQ here. So NASDAQ has quite a few things happening here on the weekly. We did not get a 2-week reversal in NASDAQ. It was a strength. In fact, the weakness, that's where I was going, was the Dow, which is up today. But the Dow already broke some uptrends yesterday. You could draw a line from here to here, all the way back here, but the Dow was the weakness. See, it's already taken out that low where NASDAQ hasn't. That's 14.7 in NASDAQ. That's all the way down here. And in the S&Ps, it's, probably this low here at 43.5. So Dow being the weak sister right now, then the S&Ps, and then the NASDAQ. So here's a couple things to look for in the NASDAQ. One big signal would really be getting back under this throwover that comes in at about 15.5. right here at this level. 14. 14.5, because that would take it back with inside the wedge. So there are a couple of moving averages that come in here too. But I think the NASDAQ, I know it's hard to even imagine it, but kind of a parallel target for the NASDAQ and the S&Ps would be, you know, maybe around, take out these lows around 10.5. I know they're big calls from now, and, you know, I could be completely wrong, but you know what? If I'm wrong now, at least I have a great place to put a stop in, and it's over the high of the move right here. Okay, so, you know, and today you had a nice little pop to sell, right? Last night I put it out on TradeGate Hub, and that's why you guys need to come in and take a look at the posts that are in there. Share your own posts to begin a dialogue, but the post was in the main chat to, you know, sell the NASDAQ between 15,540 and 580, and the high today so far is 66, and now we're about 80 pips underneath that. So it just rallied. This was prior support. Prior support becomes new resistance. My buddy Mike was talking about 44.90 as resistance in S&Ps. I'll be with Mike tomorrow. And Mike, if you're hearing me, these are some of the things I'd like to talk about. That if we're entering some type of corrective period in equities, what is the best money management tool? Are you looking for any ways to take advantage of the downside? And how do you manage risk when gravity finally comes to a market, if it does? Do you raise cash? Do you go to bonds? So we're going to be talking about how our viewers and our clients and our mentees can protect themselves should, you know, the boy who cried wolf be right this time, that they're, as of last week, the wolves arrived. You know, even bears in the wild don't go into hibernation until the winter. So they've been pretty quiet. You know, they were in Yellowstone Park stealing picnic baskets, but there's a lot of time between now and the end of the year for, you know, some liquidity problem or something to just make this market a fair value again, instead of it being Mount Everest. So with that being said, join us tomorrow, and Mike and I are going to talk about, you know, how he is working the market. And if he disagrees with me, that's fine. About, you know, that the market still looks good. You know, we're all right, we're all wrong. That's what makes a market. But tune in tomorrow and you'll find out what it's like to have a couple of pros wrapping markets. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. If these videos are adding value to what you're trying to accomplish as a trader, give it a like, a comment, and I'll see everyone tomorrow with Michael Venezia with me. Good luck the rest of the day, and we'll be back tomorrow, turnaround Tuesday. Mission here, build up and edify traders every day, and get ready just in case there is a storm. Adios, everyone. Good hunting.